Amelia, just because someone was a bit unpleasant in the past, it doesn't mean you can put them in a facility. That's incredibly cold-hearted. Anton yelled, his eyes wide with anger. However, my mind was made up. I had suffered greatly at the hands of my mother-in-law, Caitlin. I couldn't just forget all that and take care of her now that she was disabled from an accident. I won't allow you to put Mom in a nursing home. If you won't agree with this, then it's divorce. I can't stay with someone like you. Is that so? Alright then, divorce it is. I said calmly, leaving Anton blinking in surprise, as if his expectations had been shattered. Did this man realize how much value he placed on our marriage? Well then, let's get divorced. I'm ready for it. My name is Amelia. I met Anton, my husband, through a business deal and we got married. It's been 3 years since we became a dual-income household. I'm working hard in sales. Recently, I've started mentoring my colleagues and I've been enjoying my work more, as I'm allowed to do what I've always wanted. My colleagues, seeing how busy I am, often ask, "Is everything okay with your family?" But there's no need to worry. My relationship with Anton has been very good. Hey, Anton, our apartment lease is up for renewal. What should we do? We've been here a while and I've been thinking about moving. Yeah, you're right. This place is nice, but we could use more space, especially if we're planning for kids in the future. I felt a wave of relief, suppressing the anxiety I had been feeling. That's right. As we approach our 3rd year of marriage, it's natural to start thinking about future child rearing. I've been casually researching FMLA and childcare leave through my colleagues. But even if I'm ready, it's pointless if Anton isn't. Lately, I've been wondering how to gauge Anton's thoughts on future parenting. Work is going well, and my relationship with Anton is strong. However, not everything in life is going smoothly. If we're moving, maybe we should consider going near my parents' place. Mom could help with the kids. Caitlin? I exclaimed in shock, making Anton tilt his head in confusion. Why are you yelling like that? Because, I don't get along with Caitlin, right? That's right, my relationship with Caitlin is more than just not getting along. I'm simply disliked by her. What I'm dealing with is a typical mother-in-law and daughter-in-law conflict. Caitlin is of the rare opinion these days that a woman should quit her job and become a housewife after marriage. She appeared kind and graceful before the wedding, but when she saw that I didn't quit my job, she lost her patience and bluntly asked, "So, Amelia, how long do you plan to keep working?" I now realize that my immediate response of, "What? I'm not quitting my job. We can't live on just Anton's salary," was probably the reason Caitlin started to dislike me. I knew before getting married that Caitlin adored her youngest child, Anton. But until then, she had tolerated me as the woman Anton chose. However, my response made me an enemy in Caitlin's eyes, the one who not only stole her beloved Anton, but also treated him terribly. But living on Anton's salary alone as a company employee was undeniably difficult. Especially if we planned to have children, we needed to save. We couldn't just reduce our income for the sake of pride or appearances. However, there was no way to convey these plans to Caitlin, and even if I did, she would never accept them. The harassment from Caitlin that followed was severe. Every time I returned to my in-laws' house, I was greeted with, "Oh, Amelia, you're so energetic to keep working even after marriage. You can surely handle the housework too, right?" and was burdened with chores. Moreover, when I reluctantly completed the task she assigned. "Strange, I asked Amelia to clean here, but... Oh no! Did you think this was clean?" "I'm sorry, it's still so sloppy. I thought it hadn't been cleaned yet." "Amelia, isn't this dish a bit too salty?" "I'm worried, do you feed Anton this kind of food every day? Won't he get sick?" You don't feed him frozen food, do you? You insisted on working even after marriage, so I assume you manage the household perfectly, right? Her sarcastic comments continued. Of course, I had discussed Caitlin's hostile behavior with Anton, but Caitlin never showed a hint of her harassment when Anton was around. Anton only knew of Caitlin's true nature from what I told him, and his response to my complaints was, "Oh, mother-in-law and daughter-in-law conflict, right? It happens in many families. I can't believe Mom would be that bad. And maybe, Amelia, you're being a bit too sensitive?" He was dismissive and almost reprimanding. Even now, when Caitlin's name came up and I reacted in surprise, he said, "Well, my parents' house is closer than Amelia's, right? If we have a child, we can just stay at my parents'. Mom's been complaining about her back pain and struggling with housework. If Amelia's there, she might get some relief." Impossible! No way, no way! Really? Well, we'll think about all that after we have kids. We're not moving right away, are we? Yes, but... Really, Amelia's dislike of my parents is a problem. I wish you'd get along. Oh, by the way, Mom insists we have dinner with her the day after tomorrow, so I'll be home late. You don't need to prepare dinner. Okay, is it another family gathering? What was last month's? Last month was my birthday celebration. Well, she probably just wants to see her son for any reason. The conversation ended as if Anton had brushed it off. But something he said caught my attention. She's in pain and wants us to live together? He can't be serious, can he? Living with that mother-in-law would be unbearable. Constantly being belittled and overworked. The mere thought gives me chills. The stress of her nagging during pregnancy, I can't even imagine. I hugged my trembling shoulders and sighed. Anton was clueless about Caitlin, but he was kind and a good husband in other ways. He willingly shared household chores, understanding that we both had busy jobs, and would casually suggest, "Cooking now would be tough, right? Let's order a pizza," when I worked late. Although I had reservations about the monthly visits to my in-laws that Anton handled alone, our relationship was still manageable. Or so I thought. For now, I decided to minimize contact with Caitlin and plan how to coordinate with my parents when we have children. It was amidst these thoughts that the unexpected happened. "Amelia! Mom's been in an accident." "What? Caitlin has?" Caitlin was in a traffic accident. She was hit by a speeding car while trying to cross the street on a changing red light. Caitlin's recovery was expected to take 3 months. Even after treatment, returning to her normal life would be difficult. Apparently, she had injured important nerves in her brain due to a severe blow to her head and neck. If things go poorly, Caitlin might spend the rest of her life bedridden. Even if she recovers, she won't be able to escape a life confined to a wheelchair. Anton's shock was evident when the doctor told us this. He clung to Caitlin's bed where she lay still unconscious from anesthesia after the surgery, crying as if he were the hero of a tragedy. Meanwhile, I was able to remain somewhat calm and rational. Anton's father had passed away early, and his brothers lived far away in their own homes. If Caitlin became bedridden at home, it would fall to us, the couple, to take care of her. However, caring for a bedridden person while working would be difficult. Besides, we were neither professional caregivers, nor had any expertise in that field. Though it seemed harsh, the most logical step might be to have Caitlin enter a nursing home. Getting her assessed for care needs, but nursing home fees aren't free either. We had to check how much savings Caitlin had. I thought that Anton would have to handle this aspect, as I pondered Caitlin's future. Then, as his tears finally seemed to stop, Anton turned and faced me. "Amelia, about Mom's future." "Yeah, I was thinking about it too, and probably the best option is the nursing home. We should move into my parents' house. You can quit your job and take care of Mom." "What?" We both started speaking at once, unable to comprehend each other's words, and stood there dumbfounded. Wait a minute, Anton, what did you just say? I should quit my job and take care of Caitlin? Yes, it's absurd to pay someone else in a nursing home to take care of Mom. If you quit your job and follow Mom's wish to become a homemaker, it'll save us the nursing home cost too. Anton continued, seemingly trying to convince me, ignoring my thoughts. Caitlin had been advocating for living together at the in-laws' house for about the past half year. She claimed it was because of her poor back condition. However, as far as Anton could see, she seemed capable of living alone, and he hadn't been seriously considering cohabitation until now. But this accident would likely leave Caitlin with significant disabilities, making it nearly impossible for her to live alone. This made the idea of living together, as Caitlin had suggested, more realistic. So it's perfect. We fulfill Mom's wish to live together and save the money for a nursing home. It's only about you quitting your job, right? My company is within commuting distance from home. Just me quitting my job? I thought. I believed Anton understood the importance of my job right now, but hearing such words so easily from him was unbelievable. Clenching my fists, I retorted, "No! If someone has to quit their job to care for her, then you should quit. Why should it be me who has to quit?" What? Well, women's work after marriage is like a hobby. I tolerated it because you were earning somewhat decently, but this, I should have forced you to quit just like Mom said. A hobby? You thought of my work as a hobby all this time? Isn't it? I heard a sound like a thick thread snapping at the back of my head. It felt as if an actual thick blood vessel might have burst. My vision blurred with anger. I can't believe it. I thought you understood. I will never quit my job to take care of her. What? Then what about Mom's care? I don't care. Put her in a nursing home or whatever. Just use the money. But that's wasting money that will reduce my inheritance after Mom dies. Anton's final words revealed his true ugly motive, shocking me. What? Was that his real aim all along? His insistence that I endure Caitlin's harassment was likely to stay on her good side, possibly to ensure a favorable inheritance for himself. He wanted to score points, but not at the cost of reducing the estate itself. That's why he suggested I take care of Caitlin and save on nursing home expenses. Everything is about his convenience. Caitlin, me, everything. As I remained silent in anger, Anton snorted. If you can't follow this plan, I get it. Let's divorce Amelia. I can't put Mom in a nursing home. I can't stay with someone who won't help with that. His claim was absurd, especially after what he had just said, but it was almost laughable in its insincerity. That would be tough, right? You've been working till now, but it's just a woman's hobby. How will you live alone all of a sudden? Fine, let's divorce. Facing Anton's mocking laughter, I thrust the divorce papers at him. They were already signed by me. In return, I'll make sure to get a proper settlement from you in the divorce court. What? Then I presented him with a file full of evidence of Anton's infidelity. I had hired a private investigator last month to look into Anton's activities. Naturally, it included detailed information about his affair partner. What is this? Why? How? No! Why now? Anton was visibly shaken, at a loss for words. I first suspected Anton's infidelity the day after he didn't come home, saying he was staying at his mother Caitlin's house. There was no call from Caitlin. Usually she would call the next evening, saying something like, "Anton came home yesterday, didn't he? Were you unwell, Amelia? Normally, a couple visits together when called by the mother-in-law, right?" In a sarcastic tone. At first I thought maybe Caitlin just wasn't in the mood to call. However, as Anton's visits home became more frequent, I started feeling something was off. Then one day, I realized Anton might not actually be visiting home at all. I quickly began gathering evidence, hiring a detective. I had planned to confront him with the infidelity evidence and divorce papers after dinner today, but an unexpected accident changed everything. I never imagined the file I had brought to the hospital would come in handy like this. Oh, and about our future life, I've just been promoted to sales manager today thanks to my hobby. My salary will increase, so I can live on my own. Thanks for your concern. Wait, but As I said this in a low voice, Anton collapsed weakly on the hospital floor. Whether he was shocked that I, whom he always looked down upon, had been promoted, or that his infidelity, which he thought he had cleverly concealed, was exposed so quickly, I didn't care. Half a year after Kaylin's accident and our legal dispute, I received an unexpected call from an unknown number, making me frown. Amelia, help me, please! The voice I heard was Caitlin's, which I had dreadfully heard too much of until 6 months ago. It had become hoarse, almost like that of an old woman compared to what I knew. Who is this? That's terrible. You know who I am. Don't play dumb. Come quickly. Anton is terrible. I haven't showered for days. The food is just frozen, not edible. I will. That's a problem for your family, right? It has nothing to do with me, a stranger. Please don't call me again. Wait, it must be something you did that changed the kind, Anton. Take responsibility. You must. I cut off the call mid-rant and blocked Caitlin's number, which I had forgotten to block earlier. Sighing naturally, I hurried on my way home. Since then, I had sued Anton and his affair partner. The detective's findings helped, and I won the case. I received a favorable settlement from both in the divorce, and the distribution of property with Anton was greatly in my favor. I don't know about Anton and his family's current situation, but from the call, it seemed far from harmonious. Apparently, Anton tried to impose Caitlin's care on his affair partner too. But after paying the settlement and suddenly having to care for a mother-in-law she had never met, she left him. Reluctantly, Anton began taking care of Caitlin and my former in-laws, but the outcome was predictable. Both must be struggling, but neither deserves my sympathy. As for me, I moved to a new apartment with the settlement and property distribution. Now I'm fully focused on work. After the terrible end to my marriage with Anton, I plan to enjoy being single for a while.